Okay, I'm on. Okay, there it goes. Happy International Women's Day. I'm so glad you all are able to join us today as people are coming in. This session is going to be recorded so that it'll be available to other people as well after today. So also feel free to keep inviting people. I think the link is still available so that people can continue to join us while we're having this session today. But I just wanted to welcome everybody. Um, and also wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nakia Simpson. I've been a part of Google Women's Techmakers for about since 2019, so almost 6 years now. It's an incredible organization headed by Google to help uplift and amplify the voices of women, and one of our key initiatives is International Women's Day. And today is March 8th, which is International Women's Day. So today we're going to have an exciting event in collaboration with the Alpha Alpha Rho Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is also my chapter. So I'm so glad that they are here today to join us. And I want to introduce our chapter president, Demetria Kimbrough, for her to have words and introduce and welcome people this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Nakia. Good morning and happy International Women's Day. Yay! We are happy that you have joined the Alpha Alpha Rho Omega chapter in collaboration with the Google Women Tech Makers for this AI in our community event. We know as AI has become increasingly popular, um, we've seen some of the potential impacts for our organization. So we thought it was fitting to share and have this collaboration so our community members could also see how to be more responsible with dealing with AI. And as this presentation explores the impacts of AI on our community, we hope you take away some tools to navigate AI in a safe and responsible way. And also, a good thing for us is that this presentation also aligns with Alpha Kappa Alpha's program initiative, Advocate for Social Justice. So, with this initiative, we're basically looking to empower our communities to help themselves. So, by providing this AI in our community presentation, in collaboration with the Google Women Tech Makers, that's right up our alley for that program initiative. Thank you to our panelists for being on this morning. I know it's a tad bit early for a Saturday morning to be in front of people on camera, be all made up and pretty, but we definitely thank you for joining us. And then thank you, Nakia, for moderating our workshop and just getting all this together, you and your team. We definitely appreciate it. So sit back and I hope you take away some wonderful tools as we navigate AI in our community. Thank you, Nakia.
Thank you so much, Demetria. We're so glad that our we were able to collaborate on this event because it is such an important topic, especially given today, especially given our climate, that we want to be able to empower everyone to have a voice in this technology, especially women, especially Black women, as the intersection of being Black and a woman. It's just so important to amplify those voices right now and show how we can be a part of this conversation as well. All right. Let me see if I can. There we go. Let me go. What did I do with it? All right. So, again, our topic today is safe and ethical and responsible use of AI. Our agenda today, we'll start off with our keynote speaker, and I'll introduce her in a second. Also, after that, we will have a panel discussion to discuss some questions that pertaining to just how we will navigate through this to this climate, and we have some expert speakers that will be giving some insights on that. And then, concluding this event, I'll also give a brief workshop on prompt engineering, and we'll get to see how AI works in a generative AI fashion. And generative AI is just something like how you use Chat GPT, right? And we'll get to see how, when we create an AI, what that looks like in the background and how we can see how those biases and things like that come into play when we're creating these AI agents. At the end of the event, we'll have some resources that we can give out to you all, as well as some door prizes. So please stick around to the end because we do have some incredible door prizes for everyone who did register for the event. So I want you to be able to enjoy those goodies, and we hope that everyone has a great time today. Um, Also, if you have a cup of coffee or something like for brunch or something that you want to enjoy while you're in this workshop, please feel free to do so. This is informal. We want everybody to be relaxed, have fun. This is International Women's Day. We're celebrating women. So we want you to all feel comfortable. And this is a safe environment for everyone to be able to participate. So if there's a code of conduct that is pinned in the chat. So we just want to make sure that everybody is safe and feel like this is a judgment-free zone. Please feel free to share all of your questions, and we'll be sure to answer the best way that we can. Let's see here. Go to side. So one of the initiatives I want to talk about redefined possible. And it is a bold declaration that challenges the boundaries of what technology can achieve and reimagines who shapes the future of it. And so we want to make sure that we as women are in the room when decisions are being made, and we are part of this process. So the future of technology isn't predetermined; it is something that we actively shape. So what seems impossible today becomes tomorrow's reality, and we dare to challenge what that reality looks like for us. So our challenge for you today is, how will you redefine possible this International Women's Day? So as we get ready to go into our keynote, I want you just in the chat, talk about what one word comes to mind when you think of AI right now. Let's see, what is it? Opportunity, helpful, helpful. It is helpful. Horizons, efficiency, yes, information. I love it. And so, how many of you have ever been recommended a song, a product, or social media post, and it felt like it knew you? It knew about you before you knew about yourself. Like you knew something that you said, I just thought about that in my mind. How'd you know that about me? These things I want you to keep in mind as we go out through these presentations today. Yes. All of these things are happening behind the scenes that we might not even realize it. So we always want to, yes, be mindful of what we are of what's going on behind the scenes with the algorithms that are in our social. So with that, I want to introduce our keynote speaker today. Our keynote speaker is Miss Katina White. She is a full-time educational consultant and instructional coach specializing in math and science education for teachers across Arkansas. With a deep passion for STEM, she has worked with VEX and BEST robotics teams and served as the inaugural education and curriculum coordinator for the Health Career Opportunities Program at UAMS Pathways Academy. And as the founder of Culture Reboot, she is committed to creating innovative, culturally relevant learning experiences and developing sustainable education programs. Katina is also exploring the intersection of education, AI, and social justice, aiming to enhance curriculum design and instructional practices that empower marginalized communities. A strong advocate for teacher support and community impact, she continues to mentor, coach, and inspire educators across the state. So with that, I invite you all to welcome Ms. Katina White as our keynote speaker this morning.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Um, When I was asked to be a keynote speaker, I said, "What? Me? I'm not really a keynote speaker type of person." My sis Amber Booth McCoy would definitely she would disagree with me, but I'm more of the introvert. I like to work. I'm boots on the ground, but speaking in front of deciding to ask me to be a keynote speaker, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. But I am happy to share the information that I've learned, and as I'm continuing to learn about AI and the impact in our on our communities, I am super excited to be with you today. So we can start the presentation.
All right, let me see here. All right, I'm trying to get this. I've got a whole bunch of screens up here. Hold on just a second.
I understand.
Okay, okay, where's my screen? Where is my. Okay, I don't exit out there. All right. Atina is also the author of a children's book called STEM Looks Like Me. That is amazing that you all should check out that teaches about the world of STEM.
You definitely should check it out. Definitely should check it out.
All right. Let me share the screen. All right. Take it away.
All right. So I was trying to figure out a creative topic to really discuss AI and incorporate what I've learned and my experiences right now with programming, automation and robotics, and AI. So I decided to come up with the topic of saying AI ain't neutral. The real talk on tech in our communities. So that is my title for today. We'll go towards the end. You'll kind of get to see and understand why I came up with that title. So again, my name is Katina White. I'm an educational consultant and STEM educator. We can go to the next one. All right, about me. Of course, you've heard that I'm the owner of Culture Reboot. It is an educational and STEM company that incorporates culture, relevant culture within our communities. I spent 10 years as a robotics educator. I see Miss Bean on the on the on the session today, and actually her I used to work with her son in robotics and things like that. So I'm happy to see you here. Of course, the picture at the top is what I'm most proud of. My daughter. We are hiking at I think where is that? Petty Jean. That is when she is so excited. She actually is getting the opportunity to go to Paris for spring break. So I'm super excited about her. She is STEM. She dermatology is her goal to be a dermatologist, and so super excited. So that's just a little bit about me. Of course, I love teaching robotics, and I've had robotics teams for at 3 different schools when I was in the classroom. So that's my passion is STEM as an educator and providing translation to communities and students. That's my background. You can go to the next one. All right. So a lot of times when we think about technology, we think about the advantages, but we don't really think about the disadvantages. So I wanted to start with, let's look at like how technology has impacted us over the years. And so with every new technology, it brings both benefits and risks. And AI is no different, right? So think about the printing press. It increased literacy, it spreaded knowledge, but guess what? The disadvantage was spread misinformation, propaganda. Then we get into the Industrial Revolution. Um, the benefit, economic growth, technological progress. Disadvantage, poor labor conditions, environmental damage. Then we get into the area we're talking about internet and social media. Advantage, we got more global connectivity. We have online learning, we have social justice movements, but we also deal with misinformation, cyberbullying, and privacy issues. So with any type of technology, there are advantages and disadvantages. And I wanted to talk about that before I go into a little bit more detail on AI and things like that. And so even now, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, advantage, you got medical advancements, automation, efficiency in decision making, but we also disadvantage, job displacement, bias algorithms, surveillance concerns. And so the key question in my presentation is, how do we use AI responsibly for our social good? Okay. All right. So let's go to the next slide. All right. So, how is AI shaping our world and who does it benefit? We know that technology has historically reflected societal biases, and AI is really no different. And we got to examine how AI impacts marginalized communities. So when I'm looking at AI and any type of technology, I'm always looking at the advantages, but I'm also looking at how can it harm communities, marginalized communities, and the communities I'm in and I care about. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next slide. All right, so let's talk about it. So I've had a lot of conversations. I'm very informal. So I've had a lot of conversations with people that are just so fearful of AI and really think that AI just popped on the scene right now. But it really hadn't. So if you have a smartphone, anybody in type in the chat if you have a smartphone. Yes. Somebody said I have 5 in my family, right? Whoever had spoken to your computer, your phone and saying Siri or Google Assistant or Alexa. If you say Alexa, do this. Who actually does that? Type in the chat if you do it. Alexa, turn on. Alexa. Right. Right. Guess what? You've been using AI. You've been using AI for voice recognition. If you stream, who has a Netflix account? Say I have Netflix, I have Hulu. If you have YouTube, then you've been using that recommended text, that recommended content, you're using AI. If you have social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and your feed is personalized, you're using AI. If you do online shopping, I'm glad I'm ready for the boycott for Amazon, but I use Amazon a lot. And it always suggests these products. If you use any type of online shopping and ads, Amazon, Walmart, and they suggest products to you, you're using AI analysis. Banking fraud. How many of you, when you get banking, there's a fraud on your account and you want them to detect the fraud, do you know AI is doing that? AI is detecting your fraud and unusual transactions. And then in healthcare, in everyday life, who uses Google Maps? Go ahead and because if I would be totally lost without Google Maps right now. Yes, Google Map me, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So if you're using Google Maps, that's AI being used for real-time traffic prediction. So yes. So we've been using AI. It's not something new. We've been using it. It's just been developed and researched over years. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. All right. So, what I want to discuss, I like to discuss both aspects of any type of technology. So, AI is not neutral, it reflects biases in data and systems. So, facial recognition, if you haven't seen the video or the documentary on coded bias, please do so. My sis, can you type the name of that in there for me? So, coded bias, facial recognition misidentifies Black and brown faces at higher rates. So we know that. Some of the AI hiring tools can filter out diverse candidates. And then the use of financial algorithms can reinforce discriminatory lending practices. So we're not saying that those biases don't exist in AI. Okay. Yeah, that documentary is the best. Thank you, Miss Simpson. All right. So let's go to the next slide. All right, so AI can also reinforce existing disparities. So you have AI in criminal justice that can disproportionately affect Black and Latino communities. We have things called predictive policing that can lead to over surveillance of minority neighborhoods. And then AI driven job screening can disadvantage non traditional applicants. So these things can exist within AI. Go to the next one. But there are opportunities in AI. So we can actually use AI tools to help minority owned businesses with marketing and finance. AI driven job platforms provide career coaching and skills training. We can actually use AI to help combat the hiring biases when designed correctly, which is why this conversation is needed, because we got to start having these conversations within our community about how this tech works. um, what are the things, how do biases embed themselves in the coding practices, so we can see and come up with ways in which we can prevent that. But the only way we do that is by getting involved in the tech, within the technology itself, which is crucial. And I've been having these conversations with as many people as possible in my community, in my circle, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to know the ins and outs of this technology, of these various types of technology that are being produced, in order to reduce the harm on our community specifically. Go to the next one. All right. So AI can enhance access to knowledge. So we can use AI powered tutoring to help students. We do that. And in within the classroom, it's a thing called IXL, and it does. They can actually take it and it kind of scales it to their differentiate their learning based on how they answer those questions. We have language translation tools, and then we can personalize the learning environment, like I said, with IXL and different learning modules and learning software that they can use AI to enhance learning experiences for students within education, which is something I'm really particularly passionate about. Go to the next slide. All right. So AI can improve healthcare for underserved communities. So we can use different type of machine learning and data sets to actually help us diagnose diseases earlier. So these are all the opportunities in which AI can actually assist um, and enhance results for our community, using telemedicine, expanding to healthcare access to rural areas. Um Using AI research and helping address Black maternal health disparities. Also in education, I actually had to come up with ways in which AI can actually assist in high high attendance rates, low attendance rates in certain school districts, and come up and using predictive technology in order to come up with possible solutions and the impact of that, and how that would impact their community or their district within the next 5 to 10 years. So there are benefits to using and having AI. And I just wanted to also talk about the opportunities. Go to the next slide. And it can be a tool for reform. Go to the next. Yeah. Yeah. Um, we could actually take some of the data sets and have AI detect biases in our legal sentencing data. Do AI driven community safety models and reduce over policing, being able to detect that in neighborhoods, using predictive tools to support restorative justice programs. So there's so many opportunities that we could use AI for social justice and within our community. But we just have to know and how the technology works, how AI works, and how it can benefit. Type in the chat if you're following me, if you understand where I'm going in the conversation, because I just really want this to be a conversation too. Okay, y'all following me? Good, good, good. All right. Next slide. All right. Another opportunity for AI for equity driven, like different equity driven initiatives. So I'm just as I'm brainstorming and I'm looking at the work and the things that I've had to do in the background of AI with programming, it is we could use it to detect discrimination in housing and lending. It can predict natural disasters. It can do bias auditing and hold tech companies accountable. So I'm just using my imagination of like how learning how predictive technology and machine learning and all these things. And these are the opportunities that we have that we can use AI for our own benefit to actually see where things are causing harm, to even use predictive technologies to actually get better solutions and give us numbers and data. So I'm really, really excited about the opportunity that AI provides. So let's go to the next slide. And but the question is, how can we ensure that AI benefits everyone? We first have to have inclusive AI development, which means we need diverse voices in tech, which means we need to have conversations. One of my greatest things, I am a STEM educator and I work with those in K-12 because it really, for me, it starts there. It starts them getting their passion, seeing how it connects to their everyday life, how it could they affirming their identity within those spaces. And so it starts it for me, it starts when they're young. And so that's why I did robotics for years. That's why I do if I'm dealing with agriculture, healthcare, they have to see themselves doing that and see how it impacts their lives. So we have to start getting diverse voices, and that means have to start having conversations. We have to get involved in tech, reading articles, having conversations like we're doing today. So we're starting that. We have to start looking at AI policy reform. There has to be a discussion on regulating fairness and transparency. What data are they using? How are they using that data? Um, and who's doing the program? It's just so many things. Oh, we went to the next one. It's okay. And then we do need community participation in ensuring that AI works for marginalized groups, which is why I'm fostering and carrying these conversations with my family, with my friends, wherever I go, is to say that we have got to start being involved in technology because they eventually impact us and it can cause harm. And we want to reduce the harm as much as possible. And the only way we can do that is by getting involved. Next slide. So I just want to remember that any technology is a tool and it can either reinforce inequality or create opportunity. So in order to understand how it can create inequality and create opportunity, we have to be able to understand the technology and what goes on behind it, which I'm super excited about this session today to be able to provide at least some basic understanding of how AI works. And by advocating for ethical AI, we can ensure it's used for social good, specifically within our communities. So that is that. And then the next slide. So why this title again? So AI ain't neutral, as you can tell by my presentation. It is not neutral. AI reflects the biases in the data it's trained on. It's trained on. So the real talk is many people fear AI, but guess what, y'all? We've been using AI for a lot of years. And so what better way than the time is now is to learn about AI, learn about its benefits, learn about the disadvantages and advantages. We have to get involved. And then we have to the tech in our communities. AI has the power to either reinforce our inequalities or drive positive change, and we can actually use AI for positive change. But we got to understand it and shape it for our benefit. So I'm so happy that we have participants on today that's willing and interested in understanding about how AI impacts our life. How can we actually use it for our good and for the benefit of social justice in our communities. It's essential. And thank y'all for listening to me. I hope I wasn't too long. And I appreciate the invite. And if you have any questions, I'm gonna put my contact information in here. I usually I should have put it at the end of the slide. My sis would have told me you need to put that at the end of the slide, but I didn't. And thank you for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, you can always email me. I'm gonna put that information in here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for Katina White. Was that amazing? Oh my gosh, that was so good. I'll watch you now. Katina is going to stay on for our panel discussion. So y'all stay. So she's gonna stick around. So if y'all have questions, feel free to continue to ask her questions in the chat. I'm going to get ready. Hold on, let me just get myself together here so I can get to the other piece of this presentation. But yes, again, what a wonderful presentation, Katina. You have gone over so much of probably a lot of our panel discussion questions. But you guys, that was just amazing. Thank you so much for coming today and doing that for us. So many important points that were made. And yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna go. Let's see here. I'm gonna share my screen again. Share, share, share. All right. Okay. All right. So we in our panel discussion, in addition to Katina, we have two amazing panelists with us today. Our first panelist is Amber Booth McCoy, who's a native of Little Rock, Arkansas. She served as an international diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant for the largest academic research center in the state of Arkansas and has a decade of experience in culture change, higher education, academic medicine, educational spaces, and healthcare. As of 2021, she served as an adjunct faculty at the historic Clinton School of Public Service. She is a two-time published author and TEDx speaker. I was happened to be in the audience when she gave that TED talk. It was amazing. I just want to let you know that, Amber. In 2017, Amber expanded her efforts towards influencing culture change by founding the Diversity Booth. The Diversity Booth is an innovative inclusion, equity, and social justice consulting firm. The Diversity Booth is experienced in co-creating sustainable, measurable, and inclusive cultures. Their diverse client portfolio includes several prominent international and national organizations. Amber leads as the chief executive officer and serves on the board of directors as the board chairperson. Of her many roles and responsibilities, Amber maintains Mama as a far most rewarding and indescribable pay. She works zealously with the desire of the world to see everyone treated equitably, and their pursuit of happiness will never be impeded by hate, exclusivity, or discrimination. So let's welcome Amber to the panel. We also have another incredible panelist, Miss Krenisha Wright has over 22 years of experience in IT and leads the strategic planning and execution of technology initiatives at the Arkansas Food Bank, leveraging her expertise in IT management, business intelligence, and artificial intelligence. Since becoming CIO in July of 2021, she has driven the complete overhaul of the network infrastructure and hardware, launched the first client intake database system, and upgraded various software and technology communication systems to meet industry standards, significantly enhancing the organization's technology capabilities. Krenisha is also currently pursuing a PhD in computer and information sciences at UALR. She serves on the Pulaski County Broadband Board and is also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, as is Ms. Amber Booth McCoy. So everyone, I want you to give a round of applause for our panelists today. All right. Oh, I don't want to go there yet. let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a second so I can see the panelists. Let me see. Stop sharing. Right. All right. Okay. I'm going to start off by asking a few questions of the panelists myself, and then we will also entertain questions from the audience. So I want to start off with the very first question. So, as Katina mentioned, AI is everywhere now, from social media algorithms to job applications. What's the one example of AI people might not realize that they're interacting with every day? And I'll open up to Amber and Cornisha to start us.
Um, I mean, well, Katina gave such a great list as far as the things that like that, the recommended that you watch. Honestly, I wish Amazon would stop recommending things I should buy. It's everything from the conversations that you're having, and then you open your Google search, and it's the first thing you hadn't even typed it in there, and it's popping up. So those are things, but it's also every time you go to the bathroom and you stick your hands under that faucet and that water turns on, it's AI, right? If you're applying for jobs right now, every single time you stick your resume and you up there, more often than not, companies right now are using those AI tools to see how what fit you are for that role. So we're interacting with AI all the time. And if you are anything like me, the amount of times that I ask Siri a question that she can't answer, so let's just go ahead and acknowledge she's not answering it, okay? Um, but every time that I ask her a question, there's AI all over again.
Yeah, I gotta agree. First of all, thank you all for having me. Katina, yeah, you covered a lot. You hit on the high issues, the concerns, everything. I was like, what are we going to talk about now?
Like, mark off all the questions.
But yeah, if I had to think of one thing or one area, it's going to be when you get in your vehicle. Your vehicle is learning everything that you're doing because it's a whole AI system, and it depends on which vehicle you're driving. It might be driving for you. Uh, my mom had a situation where the vehicle slammed on brakes automatically and she had no clue what was going on, and she looked up and there were 3 deer in front of her. So the vehicle saved her from having an accident or worse, right? But it's not just the cameras around the vehicle. It's also the voice activated system where you can talk and tell it, where you need to go. You don't have to stop and have this hands-on assistance. It's hands-off. So it's making us more efficient, and we're able to pay attention when we're driving and get into our destination safely by just hitting the button and talking and telling it what to do. You want to turn the air conditioner up? Some of them do that, and whatever your vehicle does, it could be very well saving your life because you're not preoccupied with something that could be detrimental. So these systems are everywhere, and they've been, like she said, for years. And I think they're just going to get, they're going to be a higher number of systems out there, and then they're going to get more efficient, which is a good thing. Like she said, if we use them safely.
And I
Great.
just want to,
So go ahead.
if this is the right now will be the most basic of AI that you'll ever have in your lifetime, right? Because it's going to continue to grow and get bigger. So
Yes.
thinking about this as being the child, the infancy, if you will, even if you're thinking about in your own use, just know that you want to be able to watch it grow, but you want to be a part of that rearing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've sat in some meetings where they're really looking at quantum ideas and quantum AI, and we're in technology, so we are on the basic level of AI right now.
Mhm.
And currently there are studies of various types of technology that will AI is about to explode. So we
Yes,
need to be very much involved in that conversation and the development of those technologies as much as possible to prevent those biases from happening and impacting and causing harm.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because we talk about AI, but there are so many different types of AI. There's computer vision, there's the generative AI, there's natural language processing, there's robotics, and there's many more. So it's not just a one thing, that's going on. We're learning AI. There's different types of AI that we're encountering every single day.
absolutely.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask And Katina also touched on a lot of this, but why, as women, and particularly Black women, should we care about making sure that AI is safe and responsible? And how, and then we talked a little bit about the bias and things like that in the keynote speak, but how specifically that affects our communities differently than others.
Well, I think us thinking about it in terms of we always want to protect the most vulnerable of us, right? And so, in thinking about the fact that just in life, we know that the data shows that our names can get us rooted out for various job opportunities. That when we're thinking about the over policing, that often looks like our neighborhoods in the first place, right? So we think about places like ShotSpotter. Okay, well, if you're going to put all of these tools that recommend policing in these neighborhoods, because you're looking at arrest rates, are you also looking at the fact that Black people, it specifically, have the highest overturned convictions because they were they were incorrect arrests, right? So we may have more arrests, but we also have the more arrests overturned for being false. So are you putting that in the data as you're talking about being, you know what I mean, like making sure that we're checking for over policing? When you are thinking about everything from colorism, right? The darker you are determines how well sometimes that AI works. The amount of times that I do this under that hand thing, or I'm trying to get in the door, is crazy. But it is also based on making sure that we're at the table, that those voices are heard, because we are impacted differently than our counterparts as it relates to those same systems and the AI that we're using.
Absolutely. I will say that our seniors in our community, I worry about them a little bit in terms of AI. I know a lot of the seniors now have cell phones, of course, and they're receiving text messages, or a lot of them have emails because they don't want to get away from that system, right? But they're looking at the information that's being sent, and AI can seem just like a person, or it seems like it came from some actual person when it's actually some bot or some program that sent that out to gather information from them. So I think it's good for people in our community to be knowledgeable of that and protect the elderly, as well as, of course, we can go into talking about the children too and what they're believing out there. This is going to impact because they'll be targeted according to who they are and their vulnerabilities. So us understanding that on the front end allows us to put the right information in front of them and protect them.
Thank you. We do have a question from the chat. Is it Anthe? Anthe asks, AI has created jobs, but do you think that it will cause more job displacement?
Yes, and well, I don't know. Kanisha, did you want to jump in on that first?
No, take it.
So I say yes, and will organizations and always find ways to make labor less expensive? Yes, that will always be true. It is also true that you using AI to make yourself invaluable can also work for you. AI is a tool. AI is something that you can decide to sharpen as an individual. I don't even write emails anymore. I mean, I'm going to use it at minimum 20 times a day. I'm going to refine what I do, but I'm going to start there. So the same way you would make yourself a wordsmith if you were a speaker, the same way you would make yourself take professional development opportunities for any other field, make sure that you are using AI in order to make yourself sharper and to make your experience. The things that you know. And that's what makes you most powerful. You get to bring your experience, your lived experience, your identity, your whole self into the space, plus having this huge tool behind you. That's what makes you you. So will it displace individuals? Yes. Can it also make you invaluable? Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I believe that there are going to be particular positions that are not replaceable by a computer or some automated process. For instance, I work in nonprofits, so it pays for us to have people who are personable and who have feelings and real emotions, dealing with the most vulnerable in our state. There are going to be those aspects that are going to keep jobs, and some of the more, I guess, robotic or repetitive jobs, yes, we can definitely eliminate. I don't know if it would eliminate individual jobs immediately. but maybe it will lessen the work for particular jobs. I will say I was at a factory in Northwest Arkansas, and they had a robot that was probably about 10 feet tall doing work. It was like one big arm, and I'm sure Katina knows the official name or is familiar with what I'm talking about. But it was doing the work of 20 people in that warehouse. Now, that is a repetitive process that has literally taken out the jobs of 20 people, because it does what 20 people would have done in hours. It does it in like 20 minutes. So you'll have positions like that that come into concern, but the jobs that require people contact or emotions or personable, somebody being personable, those are not going to be much of a concern. I agree with Amber on making those more efficient and, being the best you can on your job.
That's great. I have another question from the chat. If Black women were at the forefront of AI development, what would that look like?
Awesome. Fabulous.
Magical.
It's right. Magical.
Yeah.
Listen,
No,
we
it's,
might
it's
not have the president we have right now.
no,
Yeah.
stop. It would look equitable. And we know that because of the simple
Yes.
ways that we live our lives in these intersectional fashions. More often than not, we know where we're being impacted, right? Because of the things that hit us. Whether we're talking about being Black and female, being Black and gay, being Black and trans, it doesn't matter. The intersectionality of our lives allows us to bring that experience to the table. It means that we would be taking, oh, y'all aren't thinking about this. Oh, you're not thinking about this. But did you think about this? Because of the touch points that we have in various systems, whether it's education, social justice, banking, we know typically what discrimination and exclusion looks and feels like. And thus, when Black women are at the forefront, we are seeking to make sure that those voices are at the table more often than not. The outcomes look different. Just even when we think about healthcare, it doesn't matter the race of the patient. When there's a Black female physician at the helm, outcomes are better for everyone. Why? Because we are seeking more often than not to help everyone. So AI is no different. It
Yeah.
looks like us trying to do what is necessary for various populations that aren't just us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
AI is a tool, and the tool is as beneficial to the person that is using the tool. And if I'm coming in with an equitable eye, and I'm coming in with trying to make sure I am solving a problem that is impacting those that have been marginalized, then that tool is going to work for the marginalized communities. And I'm bringing that lens. Imagine if we were on the forefront and understood the technology,
That's it.
how AI would be it would be it that would be a wonderful world to be in. And I just came up with a few more ideas of, like, my imagination is just getting the best of me, and I'm super excited about the opportunities that if Black women were on the forefront of AI. And yeah, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I would say number one, equity all the way, because that's just how we are. We would have distinguished experiences with AI, not just in terms of thinking about everyone, but ourselves, and being able to generate responses from, let's say, Chat GPT, and going exactly for the information we want in terms of our community. I think we wouldn't have tools, build tools that are just based on our needs, like you said, but at the same time able to distinguish out our needs. We would definitely make sure it's inclusive.
Yeah. And there's this fallacy or this quote that says that when the water rises, all the ships will rise, or when the tide rises. And that's true if everybody was in a ship, right? If everybody was in a boat. But because we know that some communities are on rafts, some people on that door that Jack was on the Titanic movie, that doesn't always work. So us knowing the disparities that are often in the communities means that we're thinking about those gaps that oftentimes others are not.
This is all incredible information. Thank you, ladies. I was going to ask another question from the chat. How do we prevent younger populations from becoming overly reliant on AI to their detriment?
Tell every adult you know to not ask Google a question for a week. and see how that works for them. I'm simply saying that it's one thing for them to, you teach them what the world is around them, right? We're all using it all the time. The difference is making sure that they understand that it's a tool, that it's not the answer. The difference is making sure that they understand you only get out as good as what you put in when you're talking about, things like Chat GPT. So I can tell Chat GPT to write me a paper. That doesn't make it good. I have to know, Chat GPT, write me a paper about this, explore the things of this, include the analysis of this. Your prompt determines your output. Now, if teachers were going to make sure that they are preparing students for the future, they will be preparing them to use AI. They will be, why? First of all, like students are going to cheat. Students been cheating. Okay, students been cheating long as homework been homeworking. So pretending that it just started happening when we got AI would be crazy. The amount of papers that I wrote for people in grad school before I got in grad school is ridiculous. I didn't do that. That's illegal. But hypothetically, if I had done that, I'm just saying. So pretending that it's not happening is unnecessary. What I am saying is that teaching them how to use it is how we're going to stop seeing those large gaps in the disparities, because our counterparts are going to use it.
Yeah.
One thing that we do is make sure, I work at a school and we now have an AI policy. It's not that you can't use it, but you got to show your work. Show me the prompt that you gave. Show me the output that it gave. Show me what you refined, and then you turn it in. That shows me that not only did you use the tool, but it shows me where you started. It shows me where you're finished. So I'm being overly reliant. By the time they're grown, I mean, the people who created things, like, we have debit cards. The Constitution couldn't have thought about a debit card. I'm just saying we're going to continue to grow as far as technology is concerned, remembering that preparing them to use the tools. I mean, I think overly reliant it sounds like a slippery slope, but I am already overly reliant on AI and the amount of things that we use on a daily basis.
Yeah. I have a saying that I say the future is tech. I know you all have heard the future is female, but the future is also tech. There was a time when certain people struggle with the thought of using a calculator. I know y'all remember those days. Some of you do, because they thought that people wouldn't know how to do addition, multiplication, etc. And some people have, you can take a struggle with some of those multiplication problems. Now you have to think a little bit harder, but okay, it didn't totally mess up the critical thinking skills, right? Same thing with the internet. There were concerns about kids having access and etc. There's still some concerns out there. So I think we're living the history that we used to read about. Mm-hmm. Literally, like, we're living through this moment right now where this is publicly available and it's at the fingertips of everyone if you want it, or if you can get your hands on it. So I think we have to kind of think about it in that same sense, but still, like we said before, become educated on it, where we know how to protect the students and then have them use it ethically.
Yes. I think as a math and science coach, what I've often had to do, and as I'm discussing with teachers, is exposing them to the technology and utilizing it as a tool of, even we were talking about comparative writing. Why not use AI to actually show them what a comparative writing looks like, and then have them write their own essay, or have them write their own essay first, and then have AI do it and do a comparison on your essay and what AI has come up with, and then be able to explain the difference between those two. How did they write a 3-point essay and I didn't? Various ways on how to do that. We got to recognize it and change the lens. It's a tool. It doesn't replace creativity. It doesn't create the content. It is a tool, in way we use in the way we use it determines what we're going to get at the end.
And making it culturally responsive in those assignments, like Katina's talking about. If I first told my students who are familiar with various rappers, compare the storytelling, or the literary devices used by Tupac versus Kendrick Lamar, a whole Pulitzer Prize winning rapper, right? So we're not talking about just anything. We're saying use those same things in culture to get them interested, embedded into the curriculum in a way that allows themselves to see themselves reflected. And then you get them interested in teaching them how to use it in a way that is greater than just typing stuff in and them feeling disconnected from it.
In addition to that question, Amber, Vernita asks, what about students who do not have the knowledge or experience? And I'm thinking this is for using the tools for AI.
That's on us. Those are the same way we are. They took cursive out of schools, right? Because they said people weren't using it, right? And I'm not saying just when you see people shaking their head, that's fine. They don't know how to shake, that's how to sign their names, and we can work on that. But the computer now also does that for them. So teaching them early as possible, how to use the tools will assist in closing that gap. So, I mean, your teachers are using AI to help come up with curriculum. Teach your students how to use it to assist in coming up with answers. It's not about being reliant. It is about remembering that in 18 years from now, when your kindergartners will be in the 12th grade, what AI looks like for them now will look completely different. And them having no understanding of it at 12th grade because teachers feel that we need to be, I don't know, still picking up actual tangible books and things. It doesn't mean those things are replaced. It means you figure out how to embed them into the classroom overall.
Great. I was going to ask, there's a last question. Terry, how do we protect our privacy without disconnecting from technology, as AI often relies on personal data, whether we consent or not?
Brittany should tell them it's not possible. You do it in the fancy way. tell them we have to change all the laws. I think we should, but go ahead.
I pretty much was thinking that because if you would have asked me this on January 4th, I might would have had a different answer. But considering how much of our information is out there, and just like the state we live in will literally put your information on Front Street and where you live and what you paid in taxes, etc. You know, it is very hard to protect that information, right? Some of the things you can do is maybe, make sure everything you do is password protected. And I'm coming from thinking about, as far as the organization is concerned, we literally are not promoting any AI products in the organization yet because we can't trust them. There are too many deep fakes. There are too many viruses running through these new apps. So don't go to trusting all of them, right? So what we're doing is we're solely going with Microsoft Copilot because it's protected, and now you have to have a login to get into it, and that way we can encourage AI and efficiency without having to risk our network systems getting, having some type of access externally. I don't know that I have a good answer for that for you. Like she said, it is the times we're living in, but there are countries such as, I believe I don't know if it's Denmark. There are other countries that will literally broadcast social security numbers because, they have the system set up to mitigate any kind of situation that might go on. My credit bureaus, all three of my credit bureaus, I have them locked where they have to call me before anything is accessed, right? It doesn't mean I can't immediately go out and buy something, but all of that is locked down. It's just, we are living in the information age, and unfortunately there's a lot of vulnerabilities there, and it's not going to get any better.
I think that what we're asking for is
policy.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. It's not the fact that we're asking the data to not be used, because it's going to be. That, I mean, like at this point, every time, I don't read the fine print in the apps I download every day. And so many of those apps give a backdoor to everything else in your phone. And I put, download every time. And now they have this ask not to trap. But you got my watch can tell me my pulse. Okay. And if my watch can tell me my pulse, that means somebody in a room somewhere else that I don't even know can tell me that same pulse. So there's so much information out there, not just as it relates to HIPAA, but like everything on your phone altogether. What we're asking for is that there are policies and laws that we're asking our lawmakers, how is it that we're protecting youth? What do those laws look like, right? If you're using things from individuals, because we want our youth to use those tools so that their voices are embedded in the continuous learning of the AI, but they're not being protected right now. So what does that look like? I don't have that answer. What I'm saying is that what should be asked is what do the laws need to look like? How do we protect the most people possible with policies and in legal ways? And right now, what's being done is the grab for information and less the protection of the people.
You bring up a really good point because I did some research on policy in terms of AI, particularly in the state of Arkansas, but nationally also, there were about 700 bills brought forth last year on AI alone from 45 different states, and you can guess that Arkansas was not one of them. We currently do not have any AI bills or laws or regulations whatsoever. There are 3 on the table right now, and that's a problem. So it would be good for us to be the voices and advocate, talk to the legislators, et cetera, and tell them how we feel and our concerns about the future of AI in the state of Arkansas.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I agree. And the only way to come up with those policies, and we got to have these conversations, there has to be an understanding of how AI actually works. We That's why we need to be involved in the development of the technology, understanding how it works, because then we can actually assist with creating those policies as well. There definitely needs to be more policy within the state. For sure, I agree with Cornisha. We definitely need to know how AI and the technology, the different types of AI, the different types of technology, how it impacts, how it can cause harm, the opportunities. And without that understanding, we cannot assist in policy making and be true advocates. So I'm glad we're having this conversation again.
not show on the road, but Ruby.
And this presentation is being recorded, and we are going to post it on YouTube so that you can continue to share with others too. So absolutely, these are amazing points, and I think I completely agree with what we need to advocate for in our own local government regarding AI and our community, so that our voices are in the room when these policies are being presented. I know we have so many good questions, you all. I know that we're coming up to the end of the panel discussion, but I do want to bring up Ayana's question, because this is an important question, and then we can wrap up. Are there practices we can utilize to ensure that we're using generative AI responsibly by creating artwork that borrows from real artists? Because I know that is a concern from artists, whether they be writers, musicians, authors, etc. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that one that goes back to us asking for policies and laws, right? As it relates to trademarking and things like that, works and protected works. Two, it is, I think that also what is being asked or is integrity, right? In the event that you are adapting something, typically I try to say adapted by, you know what I'm saying? I put the original artist and then adapted by, so and so, so and so. Or the same way you would use a works cited page to create, you know what I mean? Like if you were writing something, I do think it's important, if we're using generative AI, to then also acknowledge our motivation behind whatever the prompt was. Like using Ayana Gray's best-selling, work, this and this and this and that, create blah, 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 blah. So making sure that we're paying homage and being responsible to the artists that we are using. And then on the flip side of that, also pushing Congress and other places to make, and other legislating bodies to make legislation that protects that work. Because at the end of the day, when we're talking about the impact, me taking a few dollars from, this person and me taking a few dollars from this person could be vastly different based on socioeconomic status, based on the fact that they may only have, one work versus the fact that this person has 20. So you're still going to see disparities along racial lines without that protection, and being mindful of that as well.
This is a really good question, because if you post your artwork out into AI, any kind of tool, you are giving it away because it is sitting on their server. You have now agreed by utilizing it, when you signed up for that software package or built that account, to give them every piece of content, letter, artwork, etc. And now it can be utilized again. This can be very extensive in court. And by the way, one of our former governors had a case in the state of Arkansas because someone used his likeness. So again, we don't have the laws and regulations around that, right? But if someone uses that and you put it out there, that's something to be concerned about. And I don't know if that's the case, but I just wanted to bring that about so you don't do it. But yeah, any information you put out there, whether it's your personal information or if you're at your business and you upload some information, you have given that information away and it's on their servers permanently.
Yeah, I would, and that was one of my recommendations. Check the privacy and protection laws of anything that you sign up for. You log on to anywhere you're gonna upload your artwork. That is the one thing that we have right now that you could the most preventative measure that you probably can do is make sure before you upload any artwork or any likeness of yours, check those protection and a lot of times they're in small letters, small words. So, but we need to be paying attention to that, especially when it comes to ownership of our work, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I know we have so many more questions in the chat. Feel free to continue to keep the conversation going on the chat. We're going to take a little bit of let me first thank our panelists because they have done an amazing job of addressing all of these incredible questions from my questions to the audience questions. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Krenisha, Amber, Katina, you all are amazing. You guys have really you have not only just given us some great information, I think we have some action items out of this conversation to take with us to go forward in the work of protecting our communities and learning about AI and what we can do moving forward. So thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. At this time, we're going to continue to talk in the chat. We're going to take a brief break. I'm going to introduce our workshop for today after this. So grab you some coffee, grab you some water. We'll take about like a 5-minute break. I want to also give away some door prizes. So stay on for the door prizes, and also we're going to give away some resources for you all to take with you at the end of this session, so that you can continue to do the work. So with that, thank you so much, ladies. I'm gonna I want to stop this part of this session recording so that this will be a separate part, so that you guys continue to stay on.